I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, and I'm located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Monroe, Washington. And welcome to Wheel Talk. Hey guys, today we're doing a podcast about pot swap. It's a live video on Instagram, and I kind of messed up the audio a little bit, but I think it'll be fine. Just bear with us as we go. You can hear a lot of background noise, but that's just the wheels moving. And we start off with a very interesting story. Enjoy. We're gonna be fine.
All right.
Okay, so anyway, say something, Ryan. Say number one. Just say number one.
One.
Right now. Perfect. Okay. That way I can find you when you send me your audio. So I have been going through this ridiculous battle with Comcast Internet for an entire year. A full year. Because I signed a contract saying that I was going to pay $83.91 or something like that for business, internet, and phone. Mm-hmm. And then they sent me a bill for, the first bill was like $200. And then the second bill was $130. And they keep trying to tell me that my actual payment's supposed to be $130, and I keep trying to tell them that I signed a contract that says that it's $83, which I did. But the problem is that the person who did the contract didn't add right, and so the numbers add up to $131, but they say that it's supposed to be $83, and so I'm pretty sure that Comcast is screwing me over because
they're like throttling you or something.
Yeah, I refuse to pay the full amount, and what's happening is that I'll pay like $83 every month, and I've been on the phone with Comcast probably like, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many hours. And what happens, just so everybody knows in the future, what happens is that they it takes 30 days for anything to be resolved, 30 to 60 days. Right. And so nothing has gotten resolved because nobody can figure anything out. And I finally kind of got something resolved by not paying for long enough that, just so you know, if you ever want anything to happen in Comcast, make it go to collections. Because they actually have some pull, apparently. I don't know. But still, I've still been having so many issues with Comcast. It's absolutely ridiculous.
But you have multiple copies of that contract, so you can just...
Yeah, I have the contract that says that I'm supposed to pay $83.91.
Does that person work there anymore?
Even though they did the math wrong, and she's like, well, we made a mistake. And I'm like, yeah, and you better own up to it, because I wouldn't have signed a contract had it been any more, because I was with Frontier and they upped my price to $90, and so he beat my price by just a little bit. And now I'm in a 2-year contract and I was like, well, then I'll break your contract, and then where will we be?
Right.
I just don't want internet. Internet is the death of the world. That's what I decided.
You just got moved to Amish country.
Out of business, but... Okay.
How was your day today?
That's how... Okay, so my day was good. It was a very interesting day. I called Ryan on the way back. I got stuck in traffic because this douchebag in front of me, he cut me off. He went around me on a 2-lane road in like the height of traffic, and then he cut the guy off in front of me and almost caused him to get in a wreck. And then all of a sudden, we went to a dead stop, and I saw a bunch of smoke because the guy kept revving his engines, and the douchebag ended up rear-ending the guy in front of him, and I think that he just kept going. And then, with the most poetic justice in the world known to be, there was a cop right there.
Hit a big pile of karma.
Yeah, I think he saw the entire thing.
That's great.
And so, that was great. But it put me behind. But other than that, the day's been pretty good. How's your day been, Ryan?
I had a pretty productive day at work. I have to I don't know.
I'll admit it. Like, I'm addicted to my phone, so I'll pick up my phone probably a few times an hour, and I get sucked in. But I had a productive day. I got out of my office and went downstairs and worked in the dining room area for most of the day. So I kind of got out of my typical area, and
right.
That kind of got me more productive. So I feel good about the work day. And then after that, I've been working. I've still been on my computer a lot today, but I was working on my workshop slides for my Instagram 201 workshop that I have this Friday.
Yeah.
Because I was procrastinating and didn't work on it until this week, but it's pretty good. So I got about 80% of that done, and I'll finish it up tomorrow, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, today was pretty productive. I'm sick from Monday, but it's fine. Now I just feel like crap, and I always feel like crap, so it's fine. It's just a different type of feeling like crap. So that's
all
good.
right.
So what are we here today for?
We are here.
I
feel like it's only
first, before you did not include that Becca chatted with a stud this afternoon. I guess he's not talking about me.
I'm sorry, Joshua. I'm sorry.
Because you didn't talk to me, but somebody else.
Me and Josh from JH Pottery Works have an ongoing phone conversation relationship, and he's talking about himself.
That's rare these days to have phone conversations a lot.
I know. I feel like we have one of those old-fashioned conversations. We got rudely interrupted by his 2-year-old wanting gum. No, she's adorable.
Those 2-year-olds.
Those 2-year-olds. She was like, Dad, can I have gum? No, you're too young to have gum. But why? So that was fun. We were talking about just a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We just talk about a bunch of crap while we're working because we're both bored. Well, I'm bored. I don't know if he's bored, but a bald stud. If he's not referring to a stud as in a handsome man. He's actually referring to a stud as in a bald male. So
that's the best rendition of the story ever. Nice.
And so that happened today. Yeah. Okay, so why are we here? And what's funny is that this is yours, mine, and Joshua's kind of like reunion.
Yeah.
Almost, this whole situation. So we are here because Hot Swap 2019 is coming up.
Yeah, it is.
You can't see it, but Ryan's like all smiles right now. He's so excited to
but
get
the
to
thing
work
is,
and be confused.
people can see it that are watching it, but not.
Oh yeah, you can see if you're watching it right now, but if you're listening to, because we're going to make this into a podcast, if you're listening, you can't see that Ryan's all smiles right now. He's like 100% smiley ear smiles. Because he's so excited to get 100,000 emails and trying to match people up.
Not at all. We're automating some of that this year.
Yeah, we've got to figure something out. That was a lot last year.
Yeah. I thought when you mentioned Josh's name, I thought you were going to mention that Josh was on board to help when you said you, me, and Josh.
Oh, are you on board to help Josh?
We're just signing them up.
I could volunteer him.
Yeah.
I could volunteer him. Hey, Megan. So.
For people that don't even know what that is.
Yeah, let's talk about what pot swap is.
Okay.
Ryan.
So last year, probably about fall last year, we were kind of thinking through Becca and I became friends over Instagram, and we're like, hey, we know a lot of other makers on here, and some people do giveaways a lot and things like that to get their audiences involved. And I'm like, or I don't know who came up with it initially, but we're like figuring out, is there a way that we can get more people involved and kind of do sort of like you do with your family or whatever. You do Secret Santas at work or whatnot, and you trade things, or you get matched up with someone and you get something in return. So it's essentially a Secret Santa for potters, where we get a batch of names. Last year it was basically, hey, you contacted one of us and we put you on the list, and then you're making your stuff, and at a certain point we stopped accepting entries, and then we paired everyone up with someone to send their thing. Or we didn't pair them, we sent you a name and an address,
and it was totally random, by the way.
right? So we paired people up, and then you sent something to someone, and then you didn't necessarily get that person's item in return, but you got something in return from someone that was also on the list. So this was just kind of an inception there on Instagram land, and we just had like some stories that advertised for it, and then we just were like, hey, message us, and then we had a post that was calling people out to say, hey, message us if you want to be involved. And yeah, that's basically what it was. We had about 116 people participate.
Yep, about 120, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to say we had it open for maybe 2 or 3 weeks or something like that for people to join, and then we cut it off because we were trying to manage how much work we had to do.
Ryan, I don't remember it happening that slowly. I remember it happening in like a day.
It was more than that.
No, it wasn't. It was like...
Are you sure?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm positive.
Okay, maybe it was a few days.
Yeah, people emailed us, and it was so quick.
Yeah.
It was so quick.
Yeah, so a lot of the work that we did was taking names, manually putting them into... We were like, hey, message us your actual name, your mailing address, and whether you'd be interested in shipping international or not. And those were the things that we had to manually put into a spreadsheet and then pair people up randomly.
Yes.
And then send out emails to everybody with their assignment and all the rules and the details of when you need to send it by and all that kind of thing. So yeah, can you empathize because you do that in another group there? Titnic Woods. It was a lot of work.
It was a ton of work that I don't know if we were prepared for, actually.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was so satisfying.
And then the fun part was people were sharing as they were getting prepared and boxing things up, and when they were picking their items and choosing what to send. And then of course kind of the culmination of it was basically mid-December, everybody started receiving their packages. And then they would share in stories with hashtag PotSalt2018, and then you would share that, and we could see them all and share with our followers and everybody like that, and you could see who was involved and what people got and all that stuff. So
yeah, it was great. Let's see, me and Ryan were the only exceptions in the sense of we had access to the list the whole time, and we still wanted to get something that we were surprised about. And so what we did was we actually chose for each other who each other should get.
So that was the only randomness, and the only thing that we got from it is I got to choose who Becca received an item from, and she got to choose who I received an item from.
Yeah. So I got Abigail Leach Ceramics. I actually have it right here. Hold on. I'll show the people once I'm done with this mug. And then Ryan, I chose Andrew Linderman.
Yes.
Who now we're all good pottery friends.
Mm-hmm.
which is fun. And because he wanted to have something that wasn't like electric fired, he wanted some alternate firing techniques, so that's who I chose for him. Yeah.
So it's kind of it was kind of a range of skill levels. You know, there's people that are newer in pottery, and there's some people that are more experienced. So we kind of had to figure out the best way to, you know, frame it that, you know, you're giving something, but you're also getting something. So it should be like, you know, you're giving something that you're really proud of, that you would, you know, that you can't wait for someone to receive. So like, you're not giving away seconds. And things like that. So,
and even if you're, you know, and I think that we tried to say this loud and clear last year, and I think we did, but still some people don't listen. Even if you're new, your pieces have value, you know? It doesn't matter if they're the most beautifully crafted, most perfectly thrown pieces. They still have some sort of value. And, you know, what I would recommend if you do pot swap this year and you are new and you want to participate, I honestly, if somebody sent me a new person's mug, I would probably cherish that just as much as if I got, you know, some famous person's mug. But I wouldn't cherish it if I didn't know the backstory behind it, you know, like, it has to be personal. And I think that goes with everybody's stuff. Like, sending a note with, you know, your pieces saying who you are, what your background is, why you love pottery, like, and why you chose what you sent or whatever, you know. Like last year, I got to send my piece to Europe, and I think that you should definitely, this is a side note to that, you should definitely be nervous to send your piece, because remember, you're sending this to your peers. Like, I was freaking nervous. I've been doing pottery for 10 years, and I was nervous to, hand-built mugs are fine. I was nervous to, like, send my piece, because I was like, oh my gosh, what if they don't like it, because mine didn't have a handle, it wasn't a mug. And it was kind of quirky, and it was like not something that I normally did. So, I sent a letter, like a long letter, saying like who I was, and I also put in a bunch of different things. You don't have to do that, but I ended up, because it was going to Europe, I ended up putting a lot of things from my town, my hometown, so they kind of like felt like they were part of the town, in a sense, and I feel like she felt really excited about that. Like my package ended up getting caught in customs. Also, if you send something to the United Kingdom, you have to say that it's a gift.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. But yeah, so anyway, I think that you can send any pieces that you are super proud of, even if it's not the best piece in the world, because the story that's involved with that piece is going to be so much more thoughtful and meaningful to the person getting it, unless they're completely heartless. And it'll still be special, you know. So this is the piece that I got, and it is handmade, hand built. So it's dirty, but
it looks so light. I bet that is so light.
It is so light. It's so thin. It's like the thinnest cup I've ever had.
Nice.
I love it though. It's really nice.
Yeah. And you don't people don't have to send mugs. Mugs are just a typical thing that, you know, people do send, but some people didn't send mugs. One person sent like a jar that was like sculpted like a penguin. Like you can send kind of whatever you want.
Yeah, I sent a tumbler. I sent a cup that had a thumb indent in it, and it had a straw holder. It was a straw cup.
Oh yeah, you custom made yours. It was just like a one-off piece that isn't part of your production.
Yeah, because I think that even for me, like, I make things. For me, it was important because I make the same thing over and over and over every day of the week, you know. It was important to make something that I was excited about, not just what somebody else would be excited about. That just goes to show even more that if you're excited about something and you put thought and you put dedication into it, then the person receiving will feel that and see that all the more.
Yeah. There's a question in here. Is there an expected size, price, or anything of that sort?
I think last year we said like $25 or more. Is that right?
Yeah. You shouldn't send like a shot glass or something like that.
Yeah, don't send a shot glass. Like a vessel of some sort. You know, or like a vessel type. I mean, I would say you'd want it to be bigger than like 4 inches. But
yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's very specific to the person. So, like,
yeah.
I saw Marty was in here, and Marty was saying, does it have to be a hand-built non-mug? Because she actually builds little sculptures that are like little homes, and she like paints them and decorates them, and they're like little miniatures. Cool. So like, if it's specific to you, you don't have to be a potter or like a functional maker of wares. You can do something that would, you know, be a little different.
Yeah, you know, it's hard in something like this because ideally you just want people to send something that they're super proud of, and that, you know, you want people to have integrity within what they're sending. The people that, you know, I guess you would hope that there wouldn't be people that would send the least, you know, like the least good thing that they have, you know?
Or like, oh, I'm running low on stock and I can't keep things stocked, so I'm just going to send something that like had some faults to it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have
You would
anything.
hope that they, like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, you would hope that the people that do the pot swap treat the pot swap like you want it to be treated, essentially. It's kind of the whole do unto others as you would do unto them.
Right.
Like, don't go cheap. I would say there's no cap, but there is a minimum.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on the fact.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, we had some friends do it and stuff. Like, I want to say Tara, I think that's the right way to say it, from Pitch Pine Pottery did it. Rachel from Hill Bippy Clay did it.
Yep.
Colby from Spinning Glory did it. Those are some names you might have heard of. Who else?
JH Pottery.
JH Pottery Works did it.
Who's that Australian guy?
Gian, Argyle by Gian. Gian, is that how you say it?
Yeah, he did it, but I think his piece got, like, lost in the mail.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are some hiccups with the international stuff, so we'll see how we can figure that out if it's... Yeah, because, yeah, we had people from South Africa was Gian and...
my bad, it wasn't Australian.
Or Leon, South Africa, yeah. And then, there's somebody in Sweden. Yeah, there's a bunch of places. Oh, yeah, so Josh got Colby's name, and he sent her a pot. And then she was able to... Yeah, I think that's like... Yeah, that was like your first experience with Colby, right?
And now they're besties. Actually, that's a lie. Me and Josh are besties. And Ryan. Don't downplay our relationship, Josh.
So how are we going to accept signups differently this year? I would say I have a Google form that is ready to go that we can have a link on our profiles that people can click and sign up. I want to say we could also send a mass email to everyone who did it last year and send a link to that and say, hey, if you want to do it again, here's the link to it to sign up. You're not automatically in just because you did it before.
We haven't really talked about quantity either.
Yeah. Oh, Trish, did you send one? You sent one to Gian or Leon? Really? He never got it. See, they must have some weird postal things there, because, like, whoever he was sending to, like, it got lost in the mail, like, twice. I don't know. And then some of the other issues were, like, some places, if you didn't say it was a gift, they, like, held it at customs because of the, like, hey, this is, you gotta pay duties or something to accept it. Or
mine was held at customs for, like, a week and a half. And I was trying to track it, and then it went away. And then,
yeah.
And I think that also might be something, if somebody gets somebody internationally, I think that it might be something that we have to say, hey, you might want to warn them that it's coming. You know? Like, it's still secret, but we need some sort of a way to be like, hey, check the mail, we sent it. You know?
Yeah. Okay, Trish, yours must have been to, I want to say Gian, because that was the only person in South Africa, I want to say. But yeah, we had some folks from there was somebody from Indonesia, like I said earlier, Sweden. There was a few UK ones.
Yeah, the one from Indonesia, he got my friend Val Flynn. Mm-hmm. And she got a teapot from him. That was really cool. It was like a green teapot.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. It'll be interesting. I don't know how many we're going to accept this year.
Yeah. I feel like we're going to put it out and we're going to get so many to enter. Maybe have the sender inform you guys so you can let them know it's on the way. Yeah, we have the list of everybody and how they're paired, so we know who's paired with who. Yeah, then we kind of become the middleman, and we have to, like, is it really that big of a deal to have the few people that are sending international, like, hey, let them know, and here's their email?
Yeah.
Because we can only do so much, and if we're talking like 200 people, like, that's a lot of extra work we have to do.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot logistically that we have to kind of go through to make sure that everybody gets their piece into...
Yeah. And we did a lot of that when it became time, like mid-December, when people were starting to get them. And then they were like, hey, I haven't got mine yet. And they're seeing everybody else, receiving theirs in the mail and seeing their stories. And they're like, oh, I haven't got mine yet. Where's it at? And then you get a bunch of emails from them that say, hey, where's it at? And I have to play the middleman to, like, communicate and be like, hey, do you have a tracking number? We're curious where it's at. All that stuff. So it's kind of a mess, but maybe we can, maybe there's a way that we can have them, like, submit a tracking number if they want to, so we can add it to the list or something.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's accompanied with their information.
For sure, but with international stuff, you never know, right? I don't know if tracking numbers actually work internationally, but potentially, I think maybe. Yeah, it's so hard, and then that was the problem. That was the hardest part about last year is being that middleman, and also, like, having some people be disappointed, with, like, not getting their package or what have you. Or,
like, not feeling like they felt like they gave something really good and they didn't get something as good or, like, what they thought in return. So
and that's nothing that we can monitor,
Yeah, I mean, we just have to try to, do our best to, like, tell people what it's all about and what we hope you want to get out of it and what you want to put into it, and that you're giving more than you're worried about, taking and receiving. That, hey, I'm going to get this piece for free, so I'm going to send something that's lower value to get something better, So yeah.
Yeah, and I think that also, Yeah. Also, I think that the biggest thing for me last year with some people, they were complaining that they didn't get the, you know, the appropriate response, I suppose, gift. And for me,
You're talking about
that.
like on social media, they didn't get something that said thank you or something like that?
Or anything like that. And for me, I think that the best way to approach something like Pot Swap is to approach it as a gift, not in the receiving sense. You know, like, don't be selfish. That's really it. Don't be selfish. Be excited, but realize that if you send the best gift that you can give to somebody, then you're gonna make somebody else's day.
Right.
And that is so much more valuable than you getting some kick-ass mug, you know?
Right.
Because, I mean, getting the cool mug is great, but you making somebody else's day is so much more exciting. Like, you could potentially make somebody's year, you know?
Right.
By giving them the best of your best, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, don't do it for the response. Do it for, like, the act of giving.
Yeah, and even if they don't respond well over social media, that doesn't mean that they didn't appreciate it, you know? And that's something that is, you know, that's something that I feel like needed to be said last year a little bit more, maybe. That this is about giving and it's not as much about receiving. But, you know, you can't really control human nature, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe, and then there's a comment about at least saying thank you or letting them know that it was received at least. So maybe we can put a note in there about, like, hey, when you do send it out and you see they received it, like, or you've received it, like, be sure to thank them, or like, at least, you know, they contributed, so don't feel like, oh, I'm disappointed in it, so I'm not even going to thank them for making the effort or something like that.
Exactly. And also somebody had mentioned on our comments the postage was a lot more expensive than they thought for international. And I completely agree. The postage was a lot. And I think all in all, I probably ended up spending like $75 total for my thing to go to Europe.
Really?
That's including it cost me $50 to ship it almost.
Dang.
And but for me that was okay. Like, I expected that, and I think that there needs to be this is me telling you right now. Expect, if you choose international, expect to hunk a bit of change out for that shipping. I had a pretty big box, and I packed it pretty full because I knew that it was going to be so expensive, so I wanted to make it worth it. And so, yeah, I think it was like $45. And then I ended up buying like a bunch of stuff around town to put in the box too. Like I said, because I really wanted to make it special. So, if you choose international, which I will be choosing international again, if you choose international, expect that. Because that's a reality of it. I don't know, I just think it's cool to have my mugs in a different country anyway, so.
Yeah, we did have that, some of those comments, because if you weren't aware, last year we had a survey for everyone that participated, and we sent it out, and we got a good batch of people that responded. Probably maybe 50% or more responded with some kind of feedback. It was anonymous, and then people submitted their feedback to a certain number of questions that we had, so that we can improve it for the next year and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe some of the international things, if people are iffy, maybe it's something that we try to keep it like relatively closer than like sending it all the way across the world. Maybe we say it goes from one country to another country that's like Asia to Europe or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, something to consider.
I think that, yeah, it's, you know, part of it's really fun to be able to go from one country to the next. I think it's just knowing how much you're going to, knowing how much it's going to cost. Like having a realistic expectation before saying, hey, international's okay. You know? Now that we've done it, knowing how much shipping cost is something that we kind of know.
Right. I mean, shipping from like US to Canada is not really, it's not really that much more. It's probably like 15 instead of 10 or 9.
It's not
or
that bad.
like that.
Yeah, it's like 20 instead of 15. So.
Yeah. So.
But shipping to, you know, going the same continent is a little bit better than going a completely different continent.
Yeah. So do you all have any questions? There's probably a question of when are we going to announce it and accept signups?
That's a good question because neither of us know that.
I already sent somebody a link to it, so they haven't filled it out yet, but...
Ryan!
I can't make them click the link and fill it out. But maybe it's something that when we make this audio form into the podcast, when we release the podcast, maybe that's when we officially do it.
Yeah.
So I would say we'll probably announce it in the next couple weeks.
Yeah. Because that was another thing last year that people were like, you didn't give us enough time. And so, and we've had a few people in the last couple weeks that have been like, are we doing pot swap? I need to know.
Yeah, which is what forced us like, hey, we need to start talking about this.
Yeah, and so the answer is yes, we are doing pot swap. So get on it.
Yeah, realities
Before you even know.
From this year to last year, you know, we're doing a podcast now and we're, you know, making stuff for... I'm making stuff for winter shows, and I'm doing workshops and teaching, and I mean, that's kind of still the same, but the workshops are new, and lots of stuff going on, so I can't not overcommit myself.
Right. It should be fun.
Yeah. And I
would say, well, go on.
And then the other thing that we did that was specific to people that were in person at NCECA, which is the National Council in Education of Ceramic Arts or something like that. Yeah. The NCECA Clay Conference that was in... Where did we do that at? Minnesota?
Yeah, Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we had like Pot Swap and NCECA 2019 where people came and we had a group of maybe like 10 or 12 people that came and brought something and we swapped it in person, so that was fun and we got to like actually talk with each other and that kind of thing. So
you know what's funny is that I didn't start this is not the case for Ryan because Ryan's a social butterfly, but I didn't really know people on Instagram until Pot Swap. Like, it definitely opened up my, like, Instagram bubble, I suppose.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Like, you know, I started talking more to Andrew Linderman and to Josh and to a few other people that I would have never talked to before because I might have been intimidated or what have you. And it really opened up, like, the barrier, I suppose.
Exactly, and the thing is, like, I felt the same way because there were certain people that tag you in Pot Swap on their stories. You don't follow them, but you see their stories, and I'm gonna call out somebody that that I saw and was like, you get to see their personality, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love this person. Like, I need to follow them, and I need to follow their stories because their energy and their enthusiasm is just like off the charts. So like,
who was it? Who was it?
It was Leah Courtney, which is
oh my god, I love her.
A maker in, I want to say Ontario, Canada.
Yeah.
And just that personality that came through, and she was so excited to receive her item, was like the best. So
she's the cutest. She's so cute.
So when you all like tag us in the stories and all that, like we get to see your personality as well as the
what you got. So that part made it
Ooh.
awesome.
Ryan, what's our official hashtag?
Hashtag PotSwap 2019. What else?
Boom! I mean, I knew the answer. So y'all can, if you are making stuff, you can do the hashtag for us, and we'll be able to find them and repost them.
Yeah. And what you should do, you should follow that hashtag too. So, like last year, I just followed hashtag PotSwap 2018, and you got to see everybody's posts as they were making stuff, and then like as they were sharing when they received items. And I was like putting stuff in stories like, I wonder who's gonna get this, or this person's gonna be so excited to receive this item or whatever. So yeah, it's
what it would not benefit us to have a whole separate Instagram for it, right? Because we already have two.
I don't want to manage another Instagram.
I'm just saying, I was just asking, and
No.
I agree. I just wanted to make sure.
No, unless there's somebody out there that wants to do all this for us and be another member of the team.
Yeah, so we're taking applications. If somebody wants to do our Instagram for us, please let us know.
Becca, what do we know? Here in like 5 years, PotSwap could be so big it's branded, and we're like selling t-shirts for each year, and like PotSwap 2023 participant or something like that. Like, Well,
after the last PotSwap, I got this like big idea, and then it kind of like fell off. But I think PotSwap could be applied to so many different things within pottery, It's more about like swapping ideas and swapping
experiences and sharing
and
knowledge
like
and
I mean, I would absolutely, especially like as well as sending off a piece of pottery, I would absolutely try to get in touch with potters that you admire, and if you're going to their city, see if you can meet up with them. I try to do that wherever I'm going.
Exactly.
And that's how I became friends with Rebecca Graves. I literally, when I was like, well, how far is Indiana from Minneapolis after Ensika? And then she was like, oh, and then I used, she's like, yeah, you should come. And I was like, okay. And like one night, we were just talking late one night over Instagram stories, and I added an extra flight to my Ensika flight and went to Indianapolis on my way home. And then I met Rebecca and hung out in her studio, and because of that, my productivity has increased immensely because of certain practices that she does. It's so important to have the community that we have, and to share it, and to teach, and to
Exactly. And you don't have to have like 100,000 followers to be able to provide value to people. Like,
no, look at me. I can barely get to 4,000.
Like, yeah, you just reach, and don't feel intimidated. Like, I used to be a little intimidated when I would see people at Ensika that had like, like Force Ceramica or something like that had like thousands and thousands of followers, and then you like chat with them a little bit, and you're like nervous, but they're just like regular people. Like,
yeah, Sean is especially very nice.
So, like,
well, both of them are actually. I shouldn't say just Sean because they're both very, very nice. I just met Sean first.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I'm excited about PotSwap this year.
Yeah, it should be great. And I was getting a bunch of people locally, so like I was telling them about it and saying, "Hey, we're doing this thing. You should participate." And got a bunch of people local to me to do it, and it was fun. So hopefully it'll just grow, and you probably had a few people there, and maybe I'll tell some of my students that have been making good work and see like, hey, do you want to do this? Like, you could be part of it.
Yeah. I know, I don't think I have like, I don't know if I had a bunch of people that I like recommended to do it, other than the obvious Valerie. But this year I have a few students that I think would really love it, and yeah, I'm excited. I think it's just because, like, for me, Christmas is all about giving. It's not like I said previously. For me, it's not about getting anything. It's about, and like the whole process for me last year was so much fun because we're right in the middle of our busy seasons, and all we want to do is like veg out and not do anything, but kind of taking a break and like doing something for somebody else is so much fun.
Especially when you don't like know them and it's complete, like it's almost a complete stranger, like,
yeah,
you know.
Totally. I wonder if we could get some bigwig to do it, some bigwig Instagram follower person.
I don't know. Do you have some connections?
I don't know.
I mean,
you have more connections.
I mean, I can ask some folks and see if they want to participate. Like, I could probably ask Kurt Hammerly and see if he wants to do it.
Yeah, I know they did their own like version last year.
Yeah.
It didn't have as cool of a hashtag as us, but it actually looked like it looked like they had a ton of fun too.
Yeah. So maybe we can get some folks to.
Yeah.
I'll see if Tara wants to do it again, and maybe Kurt. I don't know if you want to ask Sean if he wants to do something. He's got some items that he can do. They don't have to be like super carved things or whatever. They could just be whatever.
Yeah.
So
I'll ask Tim if he wants to do it too.
Oh yeah, I think I did send some to Tim last year, or ask him, but Tim Kowalczyk. I almost did Kowalski.
We're not gonna like say that of course these people are gonna do it, because who knows, they may not get to us in time by the time we sell out of tickets. So
yeah.
But we'll try to get as many people as we can.
Yeah, we can at least ask and just see.
The least we can do is ask.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Somebody mentioned on the comments that they loved watching box opening videos. That was like the highlight of my year last year, is watching everybody opening up their boxes.
And it's so great because it's like over like a 2-week span. It's not all at one time because of the length of time it takes for people to get them. And, people have until like early December, like December 9th, I want to say, to send them out or something. So
I think we need to do it, we have to do like December 5th this time. Okay.
I mean, we could say this time, and then if you're international, like ship it out December 1st or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like I think it's like December 10th is the last time you can get it before you get to Christmas.
Oh, that's like a USPS thing?
Yeah, Andrew knows that date.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because some people are like, oh, I'm still waiting on my community studio to unload the kilns, and...
Right, exactly.
So... Yeah, but be making them now. And even if you don't get in the group for Pot Swap, if you miss the like entry, like, hey, why don't you just randomly give it to somebody that, like, you don't have to be part of Pot Swap to give somebody something for the holidays.
Totally true. Be a gift to somebody else. Be a gift.
Now I gotta think of who I'm gonna pair you with. Or have send to you.
I don't know. For you either. You're a hard one because you have a lot of mugs. I don't have very many mugs, so I'm pretty easy.
How are we doing on time? What do we got on the time up there?
My time... Did I start this or did you?
Well, we started recording, like, the audio part at 42 after.
Yeah.
But I don't know what time the video started.
Yeah, for sure. I think that we have, like, 10 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe, like, 8. So we'll see. Does anybody else have any questions?
You know, I can't wait for these people that we mention in the video, in the audio, to like hear the audio. I'll be like, you should listen to this episode.
Oh, they're probably gonna do that.
Like Heidi that was in the one episode, and she was like, when you're listening to your podcast and they say your name, and Heidi, when you hear this, Heidi from Boldly Podcast, go listen to the Boldly Podcast with Heidi and Alyssa.
And Ryan. Oh, Ryan should be in Podswap too.
Yeah, he should be.
That'd be so much fun.
We got some pull with some people now.
Yeah, we do. And also go listen to Play is a 4-letter word.
Ooh.
Right.
I have one that I'm going to get that'll do it.
Who?
I'm going to get John the Potter to do it.
Oh, yeah! We're saying we're going to get all these people watching, none of them do it. I'll bet you John does.
I bet you John will do it too.
He seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah. All right, what questions people got? Your question will make it on the podcast if you ask it.
Yeah, right now. Now or never, guys. Because we're running out of time.
Maybe we should do a questions podcast where people ask us stuff and where they send in questions and we can just answer them.
Oh, yeah, because can't you, answer them on the live?
We could do that on the live, but I was thinking more like somebody sends us them, and then we just prepare a list, and then we...
Oh, we can do that.
Go through them.
That makes more sense.
Because we can talk at length about it, and they don't have to physically be there to submit them.
That's true. Plus, then if we offend anybody, they'll not know until 2 weeks later. That's not what I always think about, but...
I was thinking it was going to be like, hey, what do you got to say about using Etsy instead of a personal website, or something like that. Like, it's not going to be like something that we would criticize them about. But
you and I both know that people get offended over the weirdest things nowadays. So, it's anybody's game.
yeah, that's true. So what are you making? I haven't been watching. Are you making tumblers or mugs or?
No, I'm making mugs. I did a flash sale 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Sold like 85 mugs, and so I'm making about 125. And then I'm going to do an update.
Love it.
I'm going to do an update on November 1st. So everybody in this little live knows that. I'm doing an update November 1st. My first update ever over the interwebs of Instagram.
Is it called an update if you've never done it? Or is that like...
I don't know. But I'm going to do an update, and then I'm going to sell probably like 20 mugs.
Nice.
And those will be like the fancy glazed ones, like the fun fancy glazed ones.
Love it. I want to get one of those.
Yeah. So I'm making the extras right now because I sold about 80, I sold about 90, so I need to make like 130 mugs, and I've got 50 in the kiln right now. I've got 30 up on the boards that I just put handles on today, and I've got about 30 behind me, so.
I have an idea that you should record on a podcast solo when we start trying those. You should talk about flash sales, how you've successfully done them, what works, what hasn't worked for you, and like how to pull it off, because that's totally unique to you. I feel like that you've done a lot of them.
I have done a lot of them. Yeah, I could do them. I mean, I don't know anybody that does flash sales the way that I do. I don't know if anybody thinks that there's any value in that kind of a sale. You know? It'd have to be somebody that was really fast. You know? Hey, Ryan, can you read that?
I just got a new skirt kiln today, and it was mentioned that I should fire my bisque separate from my glaze pieces. I've always fired them together, but on different shelves. Thoughts? Do you...
Are you talking about low fire bisque versus high fire low fire bisque and no. Are you talking about regular bisque and then low fire glaze? Are you doing low fire glaze, or are you doing?
I believe her work
mid-fire?
is low fire glaze.
Oh, I fire them all in the same kiln. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't. Were you worried about
Just
like
make sure
off
you do it on a
gassing or
bisque
something?
schedule.
Like I wouldn't think the gases would matter. Low fire, yeah. So it's a low
Yeah,
fire glaze.
I think that's fine. I mean, I do all my low fire and bisque. I mean, a lot of the time I'll do them by themselves because I don't have enough to fill a huge kiln. But like the one that's right now, there's a bunch of low fire figurines on the top shelf, and everything else is bisque underneath. The thing that you just want to make sure is that you fire it on a bisque set schedule and not a glaze schedule.
Right, because you're gonna blow shit up.
Because, yeah. Yay!
Ooh.
First
First IG sale on
sale.
Friday. It's tough.
That's awesome.
It's hard. Good luck with it. It's you'll learn some stuff for sure. I don't know. I had this idea in my mind, or this plan in my mind, that I was going to do an Etsy update and an Instagram stories update. And the stories were gonna sell like only on there, or the items were gonna sell only on the stories, and I was gonna sell out, and it was gonna be like, oh, I'm never gonna sell on Etsy again because I'm gonna sell it through stories. Not the case.
Not the case.
Because it's very limited. You're limiting the number of eyeballs that can see it in that specific time. There's still some urgency because it's on a story and there's a select number of pieces and it's unique to only that Instagram group of people. But I learned some stuff. But also, I got 2 sales just from Instagram this week. Like, somebody commented on one of my pieces that I posted and was like, hey, can I buy that? And then they did.
Nice.
And then another one was one of my plates yesterday. So I posted those 2 plates with slip on them, and someone wanted to buy one of those. So I was like, they're this much each, and she's like, I'll take this back one. And she bought it, and it's shipping out tomorrow. All right, that's it for the podcast. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you want to follow me or Ryan, you can follow us on our Instagrams. My Instagram is 5 Lines Pottery Studio. It's the number 5. And his Instagram is at RD Ceramics. That's R as in Ryan, D as in Durban, Ceramics. And we would love for you to follow us, but we would also love it if you gave us a review on whichever platform that you're listening on, and if you tell your friends. We really enjoy doing this, and we hope that we can do it some more and have some great conversations. Thanks!